What's good? What's good? I'm back. One and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast. So let's get into it. We got a special guest. This guy is tough as nails. His last two fights were definitely against some really tough opponents. I think he originally started in boxing, transitioned into bare knuckle. He's 2-2 in the BKFC, and not to be confused with Keith, the rock star Richardson, but this is Keith, the officer Richardson. Let's bring him on. What's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm always doing good. Make the best out of everything.
So I want to start with the name, the officer. Are you a police officer?
I am.
Okay.
LAPD, 18 years.
Wow. You probably seen some things then.
Yeah, a couple things.
Now, do you ever get confused with Keith, the rock star Richardson?
In the beginning, we did. I guess they made a mistake when I fought Frank. They sent him a text message telling him to get ready. That he had a fight coming up. So he put like on a belly and stuff, like trying to say he's putting on the weight to 205, making a joke out of it.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
But I started before him, so he's technically my mini-me.
So you've been fighting for a long time, man. What kept you going during the years before the BKFC?
I started fighting in like 2000, 2001 and keep for Gladiator Challenge King of the Cage. So I started off in MMA. I fought in the only super heavyweight tournament that I know King of the Cage had, which I think it was called Critical Mass. I fought twice the same night. After that, I got into boxing, kind of short notice boxing. It's like, hey, you want to fight, next week? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Signed a contract, turned pro as a boxer. Early career didn't go out so well for me, so I took 18, 19-year layoff. I saw Lorenzo Hunt fighting BKFC, and he inspired me to get into it. So I reached out to a friend of mine, Jeremy Williams, and I asked him if he would coach me, train me, get me ready, and he said yeah. And after 18, 19-year layoff, did another boxing match just to get me ready for BK. I auditioned, and I guess it did okay, so they put me on.
What was it about Lorenzo Hunt that did inspire you?
The old school mentality that I was used to for fighters.
Yeah.
I love boxing, I love MMA, but if you see like the younger generation, they're real selective on who they fight. They're trying to get as much money as possible, which I understand. Yeah. But I don't feel like they're really earning it because they're not fighting anybody. They're not putting on shows, they're not performing. So it's like Lorenzo Hunt, he's my age.
Yeah.
And he's crushing guys.
Yeah.
He comes out, puts on a show, and inspired me.
That's what's up. So you got the debut. What was it on your mind? What was going through your mind on your debut for BKFC?
I was beyond excited because not only that wasn't making my debut, but it was against Frank Lester, which I seen him. I used to watch, the Ultimate Fighter. I was a huge fan of the Ultimate Fighter, the earlier Ultimate Fighters. So I seen him in there when he performed, and I watched him get his teeth knocked out, and pull him out of the mouthpiece of my pliers, and put it back in his mouth, and continue to fight. Huge fan. So when they offered me him, the schoolgirl came out, and I got overly excited as a yes, absolutely, because I knew it was going to be a fight regardless.
So you won that one. Once you won that one, did you automatically feel like, yeah, this is for me?
Yeah. Because it felt old school. It reminded me, the old generation of fighting. You fight who you fight, didn't matter. There's no, I don't want to fight him. I want to fight that guy.
Yeah.
You fight whoever. If you look at the research of like early BKFC, back in the day, you had guys fighting. Actually, before you started using gloves, you had guys fighting, 100 rounds and then going to work the next day.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, I've been talking lately about, if you look at a lot of the champions in BKFC, a lot of them are over 40.
Different mindsets. Way different mindset. You know, a lot of these younger kids, they unfortunately they haven't lived the same lives we have. They haven't been through what we've been through. You know, they
Yeah.
don't know what it's like to really struggle. I mean, not all of them. Some of them do. Some we all have our stories. I'm not, talking bad about anybody because I don't know their story, but I've noticed, the fighters I talk to, the stories are way different than mine. So it's like I understand, but I can't relate.
Yeah, because I know a lot of fighters talk about really having like bad childhoods and stuff like that, and getting into trouble a lot, and or might been on drugs, or all types of stories.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So you were more on like a clean and narrow path, I would say, right?
Yes, luckily, my parents growing up chose the wrong path.
Okay.
So luckily I seen what they were doing. I realized that's not what I want. So I kind of chose my own path in life.
I don't know if you remember when Jimmy Rivera fought that guy Timmy Mason. And Timmy Mason made a comment about being able to fight like legally beat up a cop. Do ever guys ever try to like say they want to beat you up more because you're a cop or something? Because cops get a bad rep in society, man.
They do, but it's not me they want to beat up. It's
Yeah.
the badge and the authority.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So being able to separate the two goes a long way. I don't take anything personal. You have no idea the stuff I've heard throughout my career. I don't take anything personal. Doesn't bother
So
me at all.
people do try to take shots at you because you're a cop.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've had even, close friends and family turn their back on me when I became a cop. It's the authority that, they don't respect and the badge they don't respect. Which doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. So you started out 2-0. What was clicking for you think early on?
It's my drive. It's still there. I'm not, I'm realistic, so I know, when I fought Brandon, he won. But he didn't beat me, the
Yeah.
person. He beat my eyelid. My eyelid was cut. And I argued with the doctor to stay into it because
Yeah.
I knew I had him. I was breaking him. I knew if it were another round, he was gassed out completely, and that would have been it. I like putting the pressure and breaking the will of the fighter. That to me is what it's all about. And I knew like he was done. I took his best. I was standing there in the pocket. I was staying in front of his face, making him fight. If like I said, if it would another round, maybe two, that would have been it. Fortunately, my eyelid couldn't hold up. Cut it pretty good.
He's a big guy too, yo. He's a really big guy.
He is, but if you notice, after we fought, he dropped down another weight class.
Okay.
He
I didn't
he went
realize
to
that.
he went he went to 185 after he fought me.
So he went from cruiserweight, that's middleweight, right? The 185?
Yeah, yeah. And he's a big. I'm gonna be honest. He told me he's gonna wait. I didn't think he's gonna make it. I know he's not super tall, but he's a big boy. He's strong.
Yeah.
Big, strong guy. He's a
Yeah.
power lifter. I think he said he's walking around 275 at one point.
Yeah, yeah.
So for him, I had
That's
no.
crazy.
Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna make 185 at all. But he did it, and he's crushing it.
You think sometimes that guys go to into certain weight classes because they think it's easier to win in it?
Yeah, yeah, but I'm not a huge fan of the weight cuts. I like trying to fight more in natural weight cuts because the dehydration you put your body through, and
Yeah.
it takes a toll on your brain and stuff. I don't think it's really worth it, but to
Yeah.
each their own. If you see some of these fighters, they look completely dehydrated and exhausted at the weigh-ins. Which they're
I hear
able to do it and they come out strong. But for me, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, I hear a lot of guys saying the weight cut is not really worth it. But I think part of the problem with guys having to go to multiple weight classes is sometimes they just don't get enough fights.
That's true too. That's true too. You got certain fighters that want to stay active, and the only way they can really stay active is by fighting multiple weight classes.
And it's such a hard it's a hard business to make a living in from what I'm seeing.
Oh, 100%. 100%. The only way you can, I mean, you got guys like, Mr. Duran who's killing it outside the
Yeah, the
beat.
cash cow. The cash
Yeah.
cow.
Well, it takes a lot. He takes a lot of time and effort for him to constantly be putting himself out there to sell his name and his likeness to people to make some money outside. And he has a lot of patience. I don't have the
Yeah.
patience, to be honest. I'm not really, I'm using my phone. It took me a minute to get logged in because I'm not really tech savvy.
Yeah. They said he sold half the tickets at the last event.
I wouldn't be surprised. I went to the weigh-ins. We fought on the same card. He puts on a show. He puts on a show, and people love him everywhere he goes. People love him. When I fought in New Mexico, people were coming up to him in Mexico trying to take pictures and get his autograph and all kinds of stuff. I kind of knew who he was off of, because I've seen him fight, but I didn't know his name at that point. He's very, very humble, approachable guy, which is great. Because you get some of these fighters, they're not like that at all.
Now, what did your job say when you first told them that you was about to start doing this bare knuckle thing?
They were fine with it, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, they supported it 100%. I was worried about, I was thinking, maybe, but we do have a boxing team too.
Okay.
So we have a proper boxing team, and I think we have like 20 plus fighters on the team, so it's not much different.
Did you watch the last fight card?
I watched some of the highlights.
Okay.
It's harder for me to watch the events when I'm working.
Yeah, because I was watching it, and I thought it was like Roberto Armas, after he won, he announced that he was going to war in Iran. And they talk about like kicking ass in Iran. I was like, this guy, boy, he definitely loved his country, man. That's a patriotic guy, man.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, well,
he's always smiling, yo.
But you have to. You have to.
Yeah, he's so happy all the time, man. I could see him in war, like literally still smiling, yo.
Certain times, you see certain things in life that makes you grateful and appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
So when you experience certain things in life, it's hard not to be happy because we're here, we're breathing, we're doing what we want to do. We're putting on a show for the fans. We're living our careers, we're living our lives. We're all grateful for it. I appreciate everybody in the military. My dad was a Marine, my uncle was a Marine, my grandpa was in the Navy. I was trying to be a Marine, but I was too fat. They're gonna put me in the fat platoon, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, well, I think they called it, like, in its playful way, the pork chop platoon. I was like, well, what does that mean? And they said, well, you could be boot camp anywhere from 6 months to a year. It depends on when you meet our height weight requirements. And finding out, what it was, and for me, it was 175. And at the time, I was 315 pounds. So like, I'm not gonna make 175. So I had to find other options.
So, do you think BKFC needs to be coming out to California a lot more?
Yes and no. It's kind of like, a double-edged sword because they put on good shows out here. There's a lot of fight fans out here. There's a lot of fighters that'd be willing to do it. But out here, there's a lot of hoops they got to jump through to put on a show. So it's not an easy task to put on.
Because the politics out there, right?
Yeah. The commissions and
California politics are way different than everything everywhere else.
Oh yeah, 100%. The fight game out here, it's tough. It's tough. getting the venue, putting on a show, getting the license and the insurance and all the stuff you got to do. It's like it's a money grab for some of these commissions. So it's a little bit
And
harder
I
for
heard,
the venues.
and I heard they tax the hell out of athletes. Like when the Super Bowl, when like Sam Darnold had to play, like got paid to play in the Super Bowl out there. Like I heard they taxed him so much, like he didn't even make nothing really off of it.
I heard the same thing. I know tax out here it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm not gonna negate that.
Yeah, you familiar with my pops is actually buried out there. I think it's Rose Hill Memorial Park.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
he's
right.
actually from there and grew up there when he was a kid and it was buried out there originally.
Oh, okay. You been out here often, or?
I've visited a few times when I was younger when my grandma used to stay out there. She stayed in I want to say across this high school called Jordan. I want to say it was Jordan High School or something.
You remember what city?
It was either Long Beach or LA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably Long Beach.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Now, have you heard anything about any new fights you might have coming up soon?
They're talking about putting me on a show May 22nd. They're coming back to Cali.
Okay. Is that the Palm Desert?
Yes. That'd
That's
be nice.
what's up.
And try to get a good turnout, hopefully.
Do you you're not into calling guys out, are you?
No, that's not. I'm more of a respect thing, but everybody's goal is obviously to be champion. Everybody that fights, I want to be champion. I want to be champion, but I also got to be realistic. I'm an older guy. I got into the BKFC late. I got in here because I wanted to fight Lorenzo Hunt. But
wow,
is that gonna happen? Probably not. So I'm realistic.
Yeah.
I would love to run it back with Mr. Townsend. I would love to go to Florida in his hometown and run it back.
Yeah.
He beat the brakes off me. But I'm a fan. I watched him fight. I seen his fight. He stands in front of his target, especially if they're easy to hit. I'm not a hard guy to hit. I'm not afraid to take punches. So everything I seen leading up to the fight is telling me he's gonna stand and trade with me. I was gonna put the pressure, force him to trade with me. He's gonna hit me. He's gonna stand in front of me, and he did not. He did his research on me. He studied me. He told me after. He's like, I watched your footage. I studied you. He goes, I'm not gonna stay in the pocket with you, and he did. He outclassed me. So respectfully,
I like him too. I like him,
I would
man.
love to get back in there with him, respectfully.
And like he called out Esteban Rodriguez. I mean, at some point though, if you start moving up the ranks and you ain't getting the fights you think you might deserve, you got to start calling guys out, right?
Yeah, for sure. And he definitely deserves, a bigger fight. He's put on a show, and listen to some of his other fighters; they don't want to fight him.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that are kind of avoiding, especially right now because he's on fire.
Yeah.
And I reached out to him on Instagram, told him, hey, if you can't get a fight, let me get this fight, and after this fight, we can do it again. We run it back.
Yeah.
Respectfully though, I would never disrespect anybody at all. But I would love to do it again with him.
Yeah, his last one was really brutal.
It was, and I felt grateful too because he didn't beat me like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. He didn't. It was. Yeah, he didn't. You didn't come out as brutal as that one was. I mean, it was so bad towards the end. That dude was just helpless, man.
Yeah, I mean, he was putting me on my ass, but I still get up smiling.
Yeah.
Fucking got me on that one. I try to get him again. I try to put pressure, and then he'd pop and run. He wasn't running, he was moving, staying slick. It's harder for me to catch him, which threw me off because I thought it was going to be an easy target for me too.
So you being a cruiserweight, I mean, how do you feel about this cruiserweight division?
There's a lot of potential to put on really good fights. really good fights. There's some guys out there that they have ability and they can hit. I would love, to see some of these guys mix it up. But I think there's some hesitation because nobody wants to lose. Everybody's afraid of the L. So there some hesitation on who they fight. Me personally, I don't care. I just want to put on a show. The fans entertained, and I'm good with it. Win, lose, draw. I'm coming out to give it my all. Fight my ass off.
I think everybody but Perdomo is going to take a loss in this at some point.
Oh, for sure. Andre Arlovsky, that guy's a monster. He's been through a lot in his career, and he's a tough guy that actually has really good boxing skills. That's pretty fast for a heavyweight, and his movement is really good. I wouldn't,
won't count him out.
Yeah, not yet. I know Perdomo, he's a tough guy. He's I can't say he's a big guy because he's not that tall.
No, he's not.
He's shorter stature, but he's solid. He's a big, solid guy, mass wise. But I like the way he fights because he stays low, and the way he throws his overhands they come out fast and slick. I'm not sure it's gonna work on Arlovsky, to be honest. Okay. I don't think he's gonna stand there in front of him. I think he's gonna use his legs a little bit. His jab's gonna stay long. It's gonna be an entertaining fight. I mean, it can still go either way because they're both monsters.
I mean, I'm ready to see somebody compete with Perdomo because, I mean, even, I interviewed Corey Willis. He went 3 rounds, but, I mean, Perdomo had his way pretty much.
It's hard when you face a guy like that. It's hard to find an opponent to mimic his style. So it's hard to find the guys to train with that are gonna fight so low. Because he, like I said, was he 5'9", 5'10", but he fights 5'2", 5'3".
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He stays really low, and the way he explodes up, it's harder to time and catch and counter. He's an exciting fighter because of it. I love his style because no matter what, he's come for a knockout.
Yeah, he's coming right at. He wastes no time, man. The bell rings, he's coming at you. He's not thinking about getting hit because if he does, nobody's even phased him.
No, but that's another thing too. It's like people don't understand. It's hard to punch down. You're trying to get power, but you're angling your punches downwards. If you don't train right for it, it's not going to work. You're going to be hitting the air, and your punches aren't going to come out hard at all. So that's what I love about his style. Wide base, keeps his head side to side, and he throws his punches come over, and they come fast and hard. Great entertainment when you watch it. Love it.
I know y'all got like this Brian Atchison in your cruiserweight. I ain't seen nothing from him in a minute, and I thought he was a beast.
I don't think I've seen him fight at all, to be honest. I see his name, but I haven't seen him fight. Yeah.
He's like 5-0 in bare knuckle, 3-0 in the BKFC, and 5-0 in bare knuckle.
Yeah.
And I still think Chris Camozzi got like screwed out of that title shot. I really think he should still be the champ. I feel like there was a little bit of I guess you could say nepotism. The fact that Alessio Sakaro is from Italy and the judges are from Italy and the show was in Italy. I felt like there was just a little bit of he's the son of Italy nepotism.
It happens in the fight game, it does happen, but I've seen Camozzi fight better.
Okay, I'll give you that.
So, I do think I'm not saying anybody because the fight I think could have gone either way.
Mm-hmm.
Kamosi, I think, might have shown him a little too much respect. Maybe a little bit. Maybe because we're fighting in his hometown. Maybe he looked
Yeah.
him up, is worried about his credentials as a fighter. I have no idea. But he seemed a little hesitant to me when he was out there fighting.
Who
I
do you
could be
think
wrong.
wins?
I didn't talk to him, though. This is
Okay.
how it looked to me.
Who do you think wins out of him and Esteban Rodriguez? Kamosi versus Rodriguez.
I like Esteban. I met him. We fought in the same card. Really nice guy. Very powerful guy. Um, I just don't know if he has the experience for Kamosi. He might. I would love to see him in the later rounds. I think he's gone later distance once. Now it's his only loss. I would love to see how he is. Round 4 and 5. But right now I'm leaning more towards Kamosi just because of his overall ability.
Yeah, because he's another guy who's going to try to take your head off as soon as the bell rings.
Oh yeah, he does. And Esteban's a big guy. He's long.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got long arms. I was watching him warm up because we warmed up when I fought Florida. We're in the same dressing room. I was watching him warm up, and his arm length is ridiculous. I was like, Jesus, he's like punching you from the other side of the ring.
So, what age you at now, man?
I'm 43.
43. How many more years would you still like to compete in this sport?
I don't really have. I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea. I feel good. Physically, mentally, I feel good, feel strong. But I also want to be realistic. I'm not going to do this for 20 years. I'm not going to do this for 5 years. I'm not. I'm looking at my last couple performances. I know the BKFC sees that. And me getting the title fight, I could just throw that out. That's not going to happen. But if I could put on a couple good shows, that'd be great. At one point I was asking to fight Warren.
Jared?
Yeah, Jared Warren, because
Okay.
he's the fire captain.
Yeah.
There's been an ongoing police and fire rivalry for generations.
Oh, he's a firefighter too?
Yeah, he's a firefighter. So
I
I
didn't
figured
know that.
we could put on a show. I'd go to 185 for that. It'd be but he's ranked number 3, so he's got his own stuff he's got to worry about.
Yeah.
He was a title fight. So I respect that.
Yeah, Chris Lytle's a firefighter too, man.
Yeah. And he's retired firefighter.
Yeah, well, yeah, but he was a lifetime firefighter before he retired.
Yeah.
Really great guy too, man. Chris Lytle was just, when I interviewed him, just some of the things he was saying was the most decent stuff I've ever heard anybody say.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Like he said something about like if you have the ability to help others, then you have the responsibility to help others. And that always stuck out to me when he said that.
Yeah, I agree with that. But helping people in this day and age is not as common as it used to be.
You're right.
It's like people are so focused on themselves. They see somebody else struggling. Like, I got to worry about me and myself getting dinner on the table. I can't help them right now. Maybe next week.
And not even just that. We're divided, man. The society is divided, like straight down the middle. It's this side. You're either on this side or you're on that side. There's no like you play in the middle anymore. It's like even if you try to play the middle and you don't pick a side, you still get alienated. The name calling is so ridiculous nowadays. If in society and stuff, just based off of politics. I just see some things nowadays like after Trump got in the second time, when I started seeing people talking about they canceling Thanksgiving and Christmas with their family because Trump got back in and they voted for Trump. And I'm like, but they voted for Trump last time y'all had Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I know what people get weird when it comes to politics and religion. Yeah. That's how it's always been, So it's like, and you're right, it is hard to stay in the middle because I love our country. I'm pro-America 100%. That's all I wear pretty much,
Yeah.
pro-America shirts. Yeah, I wouldn't live anywhere else. I've been to a bunch of other countries. Nothing compares to ours. Um, Respectfully, I'm not disrespecting the country. I love every place I've gone. Salvador, Guatemala, Japan, Puerto Rico. The part of America, Dominican Republic. I've been pretty much a bunch of places, but I think part of our problem is we take a lot of stuff for granted.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
spoiled. We are
Yeah.
spoiled 100%. And it's because you guys like me, I'm 100% like neutral. I don't care who's in office. I just care about our country. I care
Yeah.
about you, me, all of the people that I live, all my neighbors. That's who I worry about. Who's running the country. That's not what I do. I don't vote. I'm not a heavy voter. It's not what I do. But I support who's ever in office. Whether I agree or disagree doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're commander in chief. I'm gonna stand behind them and support them 100%.
Yeah, there
That's
used to
how
be
I've
a
always
time when
been.
everybody did that. There was a time when everybody's like, whoever's president, you kind of respect the office and that's it. And I don't know, the way the times are now, I think it's going to be an ongoing cycle of, like division and revenge. Like, because that's the thing. One side gets back in power, they're going to try to get revenge on the other side. And then they get back in power, they're going to try to get revenge on the other side. It's crazy now.
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, like I've seen. I mean, you have a few people that are maybe extreme on both sides.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot more people coming together. Regardless of their political beliefs. I've seen a lot more people standing together. Putting this country first and putting all the other stuff on the sidelines, which is great. I love it. It's it feels more old school how it used to be when I was a kid. It's like people are slowly starting to put the differences aside and start, thinking about everybody together.
I hope so, man. I've always heard BKFC is like a family kind of environment.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
It's the way they, I fought for a bunch of different promotions in boxing. MMA, King of the Cage, Gladiator Challenge. There's a lot of like all-star boxing, and there's a different mindset there. The way the promoters treat the fighters, and BKFC, they're grateful. They're grateful that we're willing to get in the ring and stand there and fight. They may be upset with certain fighters, the outcome, the performance, because they don't, they put on a show and they talk a good game, but they don't fight, which that's to be understood. Our job is to entertain. If you sign a contract to fight me, my job is to fight you.
Yeah.
So my goal is to try to take your head off.
Yeah.
Not stand there and hug each other and whisper in each other's ears and you're doing a great job, buddy. So are you. That's how fans don't want to see that.
Fans want to see either the knockouts or if they go the distance, they want to see like a lot of blows being traded.
Yeah, which is what I do. I throw a lot of punches.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to get hit. I'm not afraid to get cut. I'm not afraid to get knocked out. I'm not afraid to lose. I come out to fight, to put on the show. I don't care about the outcome.
Yeah.
It is what it is. If I hear the fans cheering, I'm doing my job.
Yeah, fans usually be booing when like guys are dancing around the ring like for a lot of rounds, but some of those guys I notice don't like to get hit. So they don't really care what the fans think. They just try not to get hit.
When I fought Cody, Cody's my boy. Me and Cody, we talk all the time. He's a good friend of mine now. But when we fought in LA, because we were the first bare knuckle fight in California and Los Angeles. When we fought, he told me because he dropped me in the second round. And he said when I got up, I had a smile on my face. And it kind of messed him up a little bit mentally because he was hitting me hard. still this day, the hardest I've ever been hit in the ring is by Cody.
Yeah.
The amount of power that guy generates is ridiculous. You know, I don't think I've really ever been hit that hard, and it was repetitive. And he said he knew he hit me hard, and he dropped me. He thought the fight was over, and when I got up, I looked at him, had a big smile on my face, and kind of opened his eyes, and he was like, "Oh."
Yeah, he probably thought he done knocked the will out of you, and then you got up smiling, which is crazy to get up smiling when you get knocked down and stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I might have given him a thumbs up too, because out of respect, I wasn't doing it in a disrespectful way, you know, because he got me good. At a certain point, because he was hitting me so hard, I actually tried to grab his bicep to keep him from punching me in the face, and he actually just punched through my arm like it was nothing. Oh, okay, that's not gonna work.
So that was a comeback win for you?
Yeah. Because he was smoking me.
And those are good fights too. Like when a guy's getting beat and you come back and win, those are some of the best fights, in my opinion.
Yeah. And the fans loved it. I took, because right after we fought, they stitched me up. I immediately went straight out to the fans and started talking to the fans, because that's what I'm there for, to entertain. So I want to take pictures of him, but I didn't even know if anyone wanted to take pictures of me, because like, who am I? I'm a nobody fighting on the undercard of a big card, you know. But the fans were very appreciative and you know, came up to me with open arms and hugging and grateful and taking pictures, and it was amazing. I loved it.
BKFC definitely got some diehards. Maybe not as they're probably not all as big as Russ, the Extreme BKFC fan page guy, but there's some big ones out there, man. I mean, have you noticed the increase in your fan base since you started fighting BKFC?
At the shows, yes.
Okay.
You know, I'm not gonna sit there and try. I haven't been recognized out and about. You know, I was in South Carolina, and you're the guy with the tattoos that fought. Like, yeah, you know, because they recognize my tattoos first and foremost. You know, but it's very it makes you feel amazing. You know, it's the appreciation you get from a fan. It's hard to describe. You know, it's like the purpose. It's like, that's why I do this. You know, so it's like to feel the appreciation from the fan is amazing. You know, they see me on TV, like, oh, let me take a picture. Like, absolutely. Because like once again, I'm no Lorenzo Hunt, I'm no Chris Camozzi. I'm like bottom of the food chain guy, and they're still take a picture. You know, sign this. Absolutely, 100%.
Well, I think they do a good job of getting y'all in front of eyeballs, and the way the shows run, they run so smooth.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, like I said, I've done boxing, MMA. It's a lot smoother for BK. The staffing they have is they're 100% professional all the time. You know, they keep it flowing, keep it going.
Yeah,
it's great.
They don't drag it out like boxing to drag it out. You know, they'll have a fight and then they'll drag out to the next guy coming out. They take forever to even walk out to the ring, and you know.
Well, certain thing about boxing, there's like certain fights, like they're not gonna come out until the scheduled time. Like, oh, you're not scheduled to come out till 8. So all the other cards will be done at 7. No, we're not coming out till 8. So this would be like an hour of lag time where you're just standing there waiting for the main event.
Which ain't good.
BKFC's not like that.
Yeah.
BKFC's like, okay, let's go. They come back and get you. Hey, you warmed up, or you start warming up. You're gonna be coming out soon. Like, all right, let's do it.
Have you ever took any short notices fights
for
BKFC?
Yeah. Well, not short notice. Like when I took Frank, I want to say it was like a 3-week notice. I fought Frank, and then when I fought Cody, that wasn't, you know, Because I told them right after the venue when I fought Frank, like, yes, put me on the LA card. That'd be great. It's my hometown. But I took a really nasty eye poke when I fought Frank. So they told me, let your eye heal. Because we don't think, because my eye was pretty messed up. So I was kind of thinking they were going to pass on me. So they ended up calling me, how's your eye? Oh, my eye's fine. You want to fight? Absolutely. So I jumped on that card. I took a little time off after I fought Frank because of my eye. But right back on my training, got ready for Cody.
What's the odds of guys like you got guys taking fights weeks out? Like that's got to be a real tough thing to do, I would think.
Well, 6 weeks is a full camp.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like, you got like you had the fight on the last card, like just a week ago, the fighter backed out, and then they had to replace it like that same week.
Well, part of our job as fighters, especially the lower end guys, is to be ready.
Okay.
Like my early career in fighting, my first 2 fights were short notice. I fought the same guy twice back to back, and he knocked me out both times.
Damn.
When I rematched him, I took the fight at the weigh-ins. I wasn't even training to fight.
Yeah.
We went there. My coach at the time was like, "Hey, you want to go to the weigh-ins and check it out?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. It'd be good to be a spectator at the weigh-ins." And he comes up to me. He said, "Hey, you want to fight tomorrow?" Yeah, sure. Why not? It's what I do. So I was like, "Let's do it." So I took the fight at the weigh-ins, and he knocked me out nasty.
Damn. Well, before we let you go, man, is there any like shout outs you want to do? You got any sponsors you might want to shout out, or family or anything?
Kyrgo is a big sponsor. My only sponsor is Kyrgo. Great people, great staff. My boy Travis, part of Kyrgo. My fight team, Iman and his dad Jeremy. All first responders around the world. We're all in it together. We're all family. We may not see each other. We may not, talk to each other firsthand, but we're all family. We all need to support each other 100%. We all have a hard time. Military, obviously. My family, my wife, my daughter, they support me 100%.
That's what's
And
up.
I know it's not easy for them. I mean, my daughter's easy because she likes watching me get punched in the face because we're each other's bullies. So she enjoys it, but my wife, I know it's hard for her to watch me get punched in the face. And, I appreciate her standing behind me.
She probably wants you to retire, huh?
Yeah. She doesn't want me doing it, but she also knows that I got something in me that just can't let it go yet. And, she keeps it real with me though. She's not that person to beat around the bush. She's real direct and straight to the point, which what I love about her.
And they also say bare knuckle is not the effects from it is not as bad as like boxing.
No, not at all. People don't realize how bad boxing is. And if you do your research, even with the Olympics, because Olympic boxing used to have the headgear.
Yeah.
But they're they did the studies and realized that fighters with the headgear were getting more brain damage because of the headgear, because they're more willing to get punched and take punches because they feel like they're being protected.
Yeah.
So headgear is not a good thing either. Headgear, gloves, you get fighters like BK, a punch that will knock you out or cut you, will just ring your bell with gloves. It's not you're constantly getting your bell rung, getting concussed, not realizing it. But the padding from the gloves is keeping you up and on your feet.
Yeah, so, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking time out, man. And you're more than welcome to come back on. You're a friend of the show now. Please keep me informed of your next fight. I know you're ready to get back in that ring. And I know you said probably the Palm Desert. So that's in May, probably?
Yes, sir, May 22nd.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I turned 47
appreciate you
in
having
April.
Me on here, man. I'm a big fan of your show. I watch your fighters.
Appreciate it.
I like the way you interview. You keep it, respectful and you're easy to talk to. It's like we're just having a conversation, which I love.
Yeah. Well, I definitely ain't about to diss none of y'all guys and talk shit to none of y'all guys because I might end up at a show with it. get my ass whooped or something, man. I ain't no bare knuckle fighter, man. But I love the sport tremendously ever since I really started following it. It's for me, it's starting to become my favorite sport because NBA and NFL, they try to bring politics into the game too much. And I feel like sports should be an escape from politics and all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
It's supposed to be escape from reality, like watching a
Yeah.
movie. You don't want to think about
Yeah.
nothing but what's in front of you at the time, which is what I love about BK. There's nothing. It's just the fights. And
Yeah,
it's
there's none of
one
that.
fight after the other. So there's no time to sit there and contemplate what's going on in your life because now you're just 100% being entertained watching the fights.
Yeah, it's just
Love
two
it.
guys with these and the willpower to try to win, man.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. I love it.
Yep.
Raw and old
Well,
school.
we're definitely gonna have you back on, man. Like if you want to, like when you have your next fight, you know what I'm saying? We'll bring you back on.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I
And I'm gonna
appreciate you
make sure
having me on here today.
yeah, and I'm gonna make sure, with all the fighters, when I get done interviewing, I'll get on ChatGPT, have it write up an article, post that to my blog, and then I clip up some clips as well. And I throw it on millions.co and they'll clip up some clips as well. And we'll try to help promote the brand and stuff. Cause I know y'all gotta help promote the brand and stuff, cause sponsorships and stuff like that too. Cause that's a big deal for y'all, man.
Some of the fighters, yeah. I'm blessed to have a good job.
Okay.
I never fought for money. To be honest, BKFC pays better than any other organization, but I've never really made any money because of all the stuff in life and paying for gyms and travel and family. Because my family comes to my shows and
Okay.
buying tickets and plane tickets and hotels. So for me, it's about just having fun. I'm an
Yeah.
old man, and let's put on a show, have some fun.
Well, that's what's up, man. Keep it up, man. I mean, you've been having some entertaining fights. You definitely tough as nails. You can take some punches, man. I can tell you that, dude.
Thank you, sir. I
Yeah.
know it's not
Well,
a goal to be able to take punches. Not any fighter's goal, but I don't
yeah.
do shit. It don't bother me. It's part of the game. It's part of the fun. It's like you watch my fights. You see me getting cracked. I'm usually smiling. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got me good, buddy.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, man.
You too, sir. I appreciate you.
All right. Peace, Keith.
Have a good day.
All right. Well, there you got it. Keith, the officer Richardson, not to be confused with Keith, the rock star Richardson. Last fought the Tomahawk Townsville, and said he wouldn't mind getting that fight again. Why, you know, Townsville's probably waiting for see what goes on with this Camosi and Rodriguez because he originally called out Esteban. But yeah, cruiserweight. There's some guys that I'm still like don't know what's going on with them. They ain't fought in a while in the cruiserweight. I don't like when the Carl Thomas or Thompson. He ain't fought in a while. I don't think it was like last year sometime. What he fight October 25th. He's due for another fight here soon. I don't know what's going on with Brian Atkinson. He's probably due for a fight. I'm surprised Townsville. That's the thing. You got Marat Kelamatov. I know I'm butchering his name. He's a top 5, but he ain't fought in a little while too. He's probably due for a fight. I know Steve. If he was to fight Esteban and beat him, that would definitely help move him up on the rankings. Esteban is number 2 right now. That's the thing. Whoever wins this fight should be fighting Alessio Sakara for the belt. Whether it's Camosi wins, he should get the rematch, and if not, Esteban should be fighting him, which that'll be a tough match for Esteban, I would think. But yeah, man, and like Keith said, he got into it because Lorenzo Hunt. I mean, that's a good guy to make you a fan of the sport, man. I mean, definitely love Lorenzo Hunt. I don't feel like he cheats the game at all. Guy gets knocked down and gets back up and wins fights like all the damn time. And no disrespect to my guy Dave Redneck Mundell, man, but he made him look like a shell of himself during that match. Even though Dave said he had a torn meniscus, I still think if you got a torn meniscus, you probably shouldn't take the fight. Not if you got an injury like that. Like there's probably, everybody goes in with some kind of injury. If it's a minor, like a little minor thing that ain't gonna affect you too much, yeah, still fight. But if it's something that you know is just gonna take you totally out of your game, um, and I don't know how bad torn meniscus are. I've actually only broken a femur, dislocated a shoulder, and broke every toe of my foot. But yeah, I think some injuries you probably gotta just back out of the fight and heal up, man. Because some fighters can just lose all their momentum. And I feel like Redneck Madell lost a lot of momentum when he lost that match. I feel like he'll never get the Mike Perry fight now. As much as he probably still wants it, he doesn't have any leverage to get that fight anymore. If he would have beat Lorenzo Hunt, he would have had all the leverage in the world to get that fight, I believe. And that's another thing. You got to have some kind of leverage in the sport to get the big fights, to get the big money fights, the big name fights. There's too many fighters in the fight world that are preserving records and stuff like that, dodging guys and things of that nature. You gotta have some leverage. And usually the leverage can be in how many you got a big social media following, you typically got the leverage to get the big fights. If you're a big name in the fight world, UFC, big UFC name, big boxing name, you got leverage, but if you don't got a lot of followers, if you ain't just knocking off every head in front of you like Perdomo, and there's a lot of guys that still don't want to fight Perdomo. Like, I'm looking at like all these ranked guys. None of these ranked guys have fought Perdomo yet. I don't think none of these ranked guys fought Perdomo. Like, what's up with you ranked guys not fighting Perdomo? Okay, Adams was probably the only guy that was ranked that fought Perdomo, but he ain't fought for a hot minute while he was still ranked. And now he ain't even ranked no more. So I want to see Perdomo against maybe one of these ranked guys too. You got Josh Watson, Parker Porter, Mick Terrell, Ben Rothwell. Yeah. I don't know, man. I definitely think Rothwell is not afraid to fight Perdomo, but I don't know how well it's gonna go for him. I really don't. And Mick Terrell, man, to be honest with you, man, no disrespect to none of these guys, man. But it's gonna be tough for any one of them to beat Perdomo. But I would like to see him fight one of these ranked guys right here. But he's already ranked number one, so he definitely deserves a title shot, in my opinion. But I would like to see Perdomo fight one of these ranked guys. Because if he gets the belt, I mean, one of these guys is gonna have to step up to try to take the belt from him. But we'll see. Hopefully he gets this Andre Arlovsky fight. Cause he's just been going too long undefeated in this sport for not getting a title shot. Like guys that got title shots with a lot less accomplished in this sport. That's not opinion. That's fact. All right, we about to wrap it up. Shouts out to Keith the Officer Richardson, man. Appreciate him coming on. I don't have any more interviews this week, I don't think, but we might have something. Might set something up for Wednesday, Thursday. I'll reach out to a few people and see what's up, see if they want to do an interview. And also go follow me live from Vietnam on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and all that good stuff. If you're into music or hip hop music interviews, like old school 90s interviews, old school 80s R&B interviews, definitely go follow me over there. I appreciate everybody tuning in on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And peace. I'm out.